Okay, so the NBA Finals ended a couple weeks ago. The Thunder won, cool. First championship in franchise history. Shea completed one of the greatest guard seasons ever. That was great and all. There was one thing that stuck out to me the most during the finals, though, and it's not exactly a new issue. Every day I opened social media expecting to see a flush of hot takes and discussions about the finals or whatever, yet all I seen day after day was think pieces about Love Island. It's not like it was just me either. There was actually numerous different videos I saw basketball fans make about how everybody seemed to be choosing Love Island over the finals.
There's more people watching Love Island at the bar than the NBA Finals.
100%.
Never, and I mean never. Mr. Silva, rig the out of the NBA next year. There should never be low market teams in the NBA Finals ever again. No one's watching that.
Yeah.
I'm watching Huda shake. I'm not watching that. You know what I mean? I'm not watching that. I'm watching Ace betray his friends rather than your NBA championship.
The championship was the backup dancer of June, which sounds insane to say, but it's true. And it's not like there was a shitty matchup or anything. The series went to 7 games. It was one of the most explosive and exciting offenses in the NBA versus one of the greatest defenses in NBA history, led by one of the best scorers of the modern day. Yet, many basketball fans just seemed mildly interested. Everybody had their different opinions on why they think that was, but there's one thing that many basketball fans have been able to agree on. The NBA Finals don't feel like a championship series anymore, and it's led to many watchers viewing it casually instead of viewing it as a dogfight for the position of best basketball team on the planet. The NBA seems committed to doing everything it can to simplify the presentation of the sport, and it fucking sucks, especially when you compare it to the other professional sports. Basketball has completely lost the art of extravagance, and it's the worst thing that could have happened to the sport because extravagance is what makes these sporting events feel larger than life. The Super Bowl is as huge as it is because the NFL is committed to making it feel like Armageddon. The 2-team logos in each end zone and the massive Super Bowl trophy on the field, the halftime show, which always has one of the biggest artists in the world, they make sure you know this is the biggest event in the sport. The NBA used to get it. I mean, they never had a halftime show, obviously, because it's a 7-game series, but they used to plaster the Larry O'Brien at half court. They had the finals logo in cursive on the court. That shit looked majestic. The finals used to have the aura of a championship series. Now it's just a bunch of sponsors, and they took away the trophy. Why? Apparently it was too slippery or something and they put players in danger, but they never removed the sponsors, so I don't know. Now the championship series looks like a random-ass January game. It's even worse because it's not like they're not capable of doing it anymore. They backed out some of the most outrageous courts I've ever seen for the in-season tournament. If you can do it for that, why the fuck can't you do it for the actual finals, bro? Adam Silver is not a serious man. Y'all remember when they used to do Christmas jerseys? Yeah, they just stopped that for whatever reason, bro. It's like they made it their mission to suck as much fun as they could out of the game, and then they turned around asking everybody, why are the ratings down, bruh? Nobody's stressing over a championship series that feels regular as hell. It's not just the course or the aesthetic. The 2016 finals was probably the greatest ever, and they had already taken away the trophy and the finals logo from the court by then. The promos were still better, though, especially throughout that whole Golden State Cleveland era. The introductions, the build-up, it's all gone downhill. They changed the iconic theme to a generic track, trying to modernize it, but it just made it more lame. Compare the pinnacle of basketball to the pinnacle of a sport like football, and it's hilarious in comparison. That 2022 World Cup final genuinely felt like the end of the world. That shit felt like Ragnarok. Niggas couldn't eat during that shit. Niggas was holding in they dookie because they was terrified to get up and go to the bathroom, not knowing what they would miss. Of course, it helps that it had Messi in what seemed like it would be his last World Cup, fighting for the one thing he needed to perfect his trophy cabinet while Mbappe played the villain role. The storyline was immaculate, and it set the stage for probably the biggest game in the history of any sporting event ever. But it's not like the NBA doesn't have storylines that are interesting in their own right. OKC had years of heartbreaks and almosts. KD and Russ couldn't go all the way, and then KD backdoored them and left Russ to fight by himself before the failed big three with PG and Melo before they sunk to the absolute bottom of the league just a few years ago. And then they were rebuilt brilliantly through spectacular management. They finally got a chance to finish their story with one of the best teams in recent NBA history, and they didn't even really try to play up the whole thing. Now, the Eastern Conference Finals, I can't lie, they put on a show. They definitely played up the Knicks and Pacers rivalry that dates back multiple generations, and the fact that the series itself was genuinely unbelievable helped. Yet they still somehow managed to display the worst part of the NBA media. I remember seeing ESPN clips while the series was going on, and them niggas was talking about LeBron's legacy. A generational series going on, and y'all worried about harassing a guy that got knocked out in the first round. Imagine if it was right before the second leg of Inter versus Barcelona a couple months ago and they were arguing about Ronaldo's legacy on the pre-match show. The LeBron obsession and this fixation on nitpicking and criticizing modern players is the worst thing about NBA media, and it indirectly hurts the league. The more you do nothing but crap on the best players of today, the less respect they get from fans and the less they seem larger than life. That's what makes sports. It's what makes people want to spend money on jerseys. It's what makes them take their hard-earned money and blow it on them overpriced tickets and them bullshit-ass league pass bundles. The more you drag down the best players in the world today, the less people feel the need to invest their time and money on them. Giannis could drop 40 points and 20 boards and they get on Inside the NBA talking about he ain't better than Sean Kemp though, bro. Shut the fuck up. It's so damn annoying, bro. Comparing the commentary and the media and other sports to the NBA is laughable. Football has some incredible commentating in its biggest games. Peter Drury and his poetic quotes. Ray Hudson can be jarring at times, but his incredibly unique metaphors are always entertaining. It's not always the best, and some of them like Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville can be hella biased and annoying, but the biggest games tend to have their best commentators contributing to some of the best moments. Then you look at the NBA and you got Doris Burke calling SGA a foul merchant on live TV and Mike Breen stumbling through the whole broadcast until it's time to say bang. All the discourse about whether the sport is just on the decline is fine and all, but we can't sit here and act like one of the biggest problems isn't obviously the presentation. There were numerous fantastic series in the playoffs this year. Knicks Pacers was genuinely one of the best basketball series in my memory. Nuggets Clippers was a great series. Warriors Rockets was a straight up war. OKC Denver was a good series. Knicks Celtics was exciting as hell, especially with the Knicks underdog story. Tatum getting hurt was the only thing that stained that series. The playoff basketball itself is not bad. It's not the unentertaining or boring three-point checking that people try to make it out to be at all. If you want to fix it, it's literally not that hard. Half the shit they need to do is shit that they used to do in the past already. Put the finals logo back on the court, put the trophy back at midcourt, do something to make the court look special. Make the coaches wear suits again. Why not? That shit used to be cool as hell. Now they just wear random bullshit. What happened to that mob boss aesthetic? Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, Larry Brown. They relaxed the dress code during the pandemic and all the coaches just ran with it and never looked back. Bring in old players that actually have passion for the sport as analysts, not the hating ass ones that say anything to downplay current players and protect their own legacy. The NFL has brought on guys like Romo and Brady, and even though Romo can be pretty annoying every now and then with the overanalyzing, both of those are examples of players that were great during their career, but they don't mind bigging up current players because they're not insecure about their own legacy. And why not bring stuff like the Christmas jerseys back? They made the Christmas games feel special. Apparently one of the reasons they might have stopped doing them is because they didn't sell well, but who cares? We've completely lost the art of just doing cool shit for no reason, and I really don't know why, but it sucks, and it's ruining a lot of people's enjoyment of the sport of basketball.